Sweetie Rajiv from Hale and Hearty. When it comes to lifestyle, people do a lot of mistakes. First, understand that lifestyle change is not a sprint, it's just a marathon. Why I'm telling you this is because people come to us asking for diet and we combine it with diet and exercise. Diet obviously would be a balanced diet where you can have any sort of food, but you just need to know how to eat. We can guide you on that. But when it comes to exercise, people stop exercise because of either exhaustion or they try to get faster results and try doing more, ending up getting weared out or whatever. They get tired and they feel that the exercise don't help, but instead give them a little bit of exhaustion. So to understand how you have to do the exercise, I think you need to have a better idea about different zones of exercise. That is, there is an aerobic zone, there is an aerobic zone. The aerobic zone itself has a fat burning zone. So why we ask you to do exercise little by little is very important. So let's first understand what aerobic zone is. Aerobic zone means it's a level of or the intensity at which the exercise has to be done in such a way that the body starts using your oxygen to produce any energy. And in this zone, actually, you are increasing your endurance and your heart health along with fat metabolism. So it's actually an ideal way or a healthy way of exercise to start with. Now, coming to talking in simple terms, how you can understand your aerobic zone is when you walk or when you do your brisk walking also, if you can talk to the person next to you, then you are in the aerobic zone, because that is how you understand it blindly. Coming to your, if you're coming to your a scientific side or a calculative side, you need to know your maximum heart rate. If I say you're a 20-year-old person, your maximum heart rate would be 220 minus your age, that is 220 minus 20, which is 200. That is, a resting heart rate of a person would be 72 to 76, and when it comes to your aerobic heart rate, it is the maximum heart rate into 60 to 80% of your total beat. That is the calculation that you have to do to get your beats per minute, because when you start doing your exercise, you have to reach a point where if it is like 20, your age is 20, 220 minus 20 into 60% to 80%. That is, 220 minus 20 is 200. 200 into 60% would come up to 120, and 200 into 80 would come up to 160. So 120 to 160 beats per minute instead of 72 to 76 would be the ideal aerobic zone of your body. So it depends. So you can understand from each age group it will actually vary. And don't blindly follow this, because if you are on, if you have a wheezing or asthma problem and you're on medications, your heart rates, beat per minute might change. If you are an athlete, again your resting heart rates might change. Depending on that, for that you will have to take help from the experts. Even if you are on a beta blocker also, the resting heart rate will, the aerobic zones will definitely change. So please keep this in your mind while calculating and take expert help whenever necessary. This is just a broader idea that I'm giving you so that you understand why exercise don't help you at some point of time. Now, when you're doing your aerobic exercise, as I told you, there is something you need to know about it, and that is the fat burning zone. Aerobic zone is a broader category. Fat burning zone is a lighter intensity part of the aerobic zone. That is, when you do your exercise and you start with your fat burning zone, it is I'll tell you the difference first between the fat burning zone and the aerobic zone. The higher intensity of aerobic zone. What happens is, fat burning zone is 220 minus your age into the first half, that is 60 to 70% of your heart rate. That is a starting level. You are setting a base to your aerobic exercise, aerobic zone, I would say. So it is like the initial phase, because that is the time when you actually when the body actually uses the fat, that is stored. And when it comes to the aerobic zone, that is 220 minus 20 into 70 to 80% of your heart rate, 80%, it is actually the energy that is used actually burns more of fat and carbohydrates or the glycogen. So it is more of more of calories than fat. In the fat burning zone, it is more of fat percentage that you burn. The difference is only a slight difference, but both helps you in fat metabolism. Aerobic zone is actually high intensity. Fat burning zone is a lower intensity of the broader aerobic zone. The benefits are that you have an overall cardiac health, you have overall fat loss that is happening in your aerobic zone, but in your fat burning zone, actually the benefit is it builds your aerobic base and it gives you a sustained and steady state of workouts. So I think you might have got a better idea of what the difference is, and the activities that you can do is like jogging, you can do your treadmills, you can do your brisk walking, you can do cycling, swimming, dancing, Zumba, elliptical, all these comes under aerobic activity. But remember that you have to check your beats per minute, which you can after your exercise, you can just try 15-20 minutes of your exercise. Just check your pulse so that you know what is your beats per minute, so that you know that you have entered the aerobic zone, and gradually you can maintain that timing and the pace of exercise. It does not mean that you have to strain too much to get your results. It is start slowly. As I said, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Let the body adjust to whatever you're trying to do, and you see the results. So I think I've given a base to this. The next video, I would like to tell you what aerobic and anaerobic is and how it helps you. Thank you. Wait for my next video.